The day my wife's first love returned to America, she arranged a welcome party, deliberately excluding me. In just half a day, my credit cards were maxed out. I planned to confront her, but she mocked me for being chauvinistic and patronizing. Her girlfriends publicly humiliated me, saying I was a kept man and ungrateful. In the chaos, Ashley Thompson directly swung a beer bottle at me, smashing it over my head. Before losing consciousness, she looked down at me, her voice filled with disgust, and hissed, "Just die already, David Carter. Did you think I loved you? The only person I truly love is Ryan Smith. If it weren't for your money, I would have dumped you long ago." Consumed by endless anger, I died just like that. When I woke up again, I was back on the day my wife threw that welcome party for her first love. David, I have a meeting today, so I won't be able to celebrate our anniversary with you. Seeing the message from Ashley Thompson, I smiled faintly and immediately canceled all the credit cards under her name. I knew that Ashley Thompson was going all out for her first love, Ryan Smith. Ashley Thompson relied on swiping the credit cards I gave her to portray herself as a successful and independent woman. But I was the only one who knew she wasn't a female CEO at all. She was incompetent and didn't even have decent work experience. After we got married, she said she didn't want to be a free nanny and insisted on going out and making a name for herself. I secretly arranged for her to join my subsidiary and even gave her the position of vice president. Otherwise, no one would have wanted her. Who knew she would insist on pretending to be a rich woman in front of people and even declare more than once that she was supporting me, her useless husband? I loved Ashley Thompson very much, so I didn't expose her lies and silently cooperated with her performance. But I never expected to be repaid with betrayal. She had always loved her first love, Ryan Smith, and even used my money to please him. Since that was the case, why should I continue to indulge her? Looking at the message from the bank showing that the cards had been canceled, a cold smile appeared on the corner of my mouth. I got up and prepared to go to the party venue. In my previous life, after discovering that the cards had been maxed out, I foolishly trusted Ashley Thompson, constantly deceiving myself that maybe my wife had run into some trouble. As a result, when I arrived at the location of the credit card charges, I opened the door and saw my wife passionately kissing another man. Everyone around was cheering and applauding. I was trembling with anger and rushed over to question Ashley Thompson, but she publicly humiliated me, saying I was useless, a good-for-nothing who could only be supported by his wife, and how dare I make noise. Her girlfriends all pointed fingers at me and even pushed and insulted me. In the chaos, I saw Ashley Thompson throw a heavy beer bottle, smashing it hard on my head. In the end, I died from excessive blood loss. Because no one cared and no one saw, it was ultimately ruled an accident. At that moment, I realized that Ashley Thompson, whom I deeply loved, had always wanted me to die. Now I wanted to see how embarrassed she would be when her credit cards were declined. On the way, I called the manager of the club. Ashley Thompson didn't know that the party club she had carefully chosen was my property. I drove to the club, and as soon as I parked, my phone rang. "David Carter, why can't this card be used?" Ashley Thompson's voice was anxious and dissatisfied on the phone. "What are you doing? Can't you even handle something as simple as giving me a card? I'm treating everyone to a meal today. How am I supposed to pay without money? Transfer the money to me immediately." Listening to Ashley Thompson's commanding tone on the phone, I smiled coldly. "Ashley Thompson, you insist on spending money to show off. Why should I clean up your mess?" As soon as I finished speaking, Ashley Thompson on the other end of the phone choked, seemingly not expecting me to say such a thing at all. After a moment of silence, Ashley Thompson said angrily, "David Carter, what kind of tantrum are you throwing? I'm your wife. What's wrong with me using your money? Are you even a man? If you keep acting like this, believe me, I'll divorce you right now." Listening to Ashley Thompson's exasperated voice on the phone, I said calmly, "Okay, let's go to City Hall today." Are you serious?" Ashley Thompson seemed unable to believe her ears and froze in place. In the past, as long as she was slightly dissatisfied, I would fulfill all her requests, just so she could calm down. She knew I loved her madly and couldn't live without her. That's why she dared to be so unscrupulous. But now, my attitude was firm and my tone was cold, instantly causing her to feel an unprecedented sense of panic. Of course I'm serious. It's just a divorce. My tone was indifferent, without a trace of emotion. Ashley Thompson, it really should have ended between us long ago. David Carter, what exactly do you want? At that moment, Ashley Thompson's voice finally carried a hint of panic, and she shouted at me, "What do you mean by ended? Explain yourself." David Carter, I'm telling you, don't think you can threaten me with this. If you don't obediently come and pay, we're over. Listening to Ashley Thompson's blustering threats, my heart was filled with indifference. Ashley Thompson, there's no need to say so much nonsense. We're over. After saying this, I hung up the phone directly and then got up and walked towards the club. As soon as I walked into the lobby, the manager, who had been waiting for a long time, immediately greeted me. He respectfully led me to the room next to Ashley Thompson's private room and showed me the surveillance footage of their room. At this time, Ashley Thompson's girlfriends were sitting together, each with an impatient look on their faces. "Ashley, why are you still spacing out? Hurry up and pay the bill." "Yeah, didn't you say we had a cruise party later? Hurry up and pay so we can go have fun." That's right, Miss Ashley, can you hurry up? We can't wait any longer." Many people had already started urging Ashley Thompson. After all, it had been nearly 20 minutes since she said she was going to pay the bill. A trace of embarrassment flashed across Ashley Thompson's face, and she forced a smile, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry. I seem to have left my card at home. I can't pay for a while. I've already asked David Carter to bring it to me. Everyone, please wait a little longer." After saying this, she quickly picked up her phone and pretended to say, "You all know David Carter's personality. He's unreliable. I'll go urge him again." Then she ran out of the room again to make a phone call. Sure enough, my phone rang again, and Ashley Thompson was flashing on the screen. I sneered and answered the phone. "David Carter, what exactly do you want? Are you not satisfied until you've pushed me to the brink?" On the phone, Ashley Thompson's voice carried obvious anger and pleading. "Even if we're no longer together, you're being too much." Listening to Ashley Thompson's anxious voice, I pretended to be surprised and asked, "Ashley Thompson, didn't you say you wanted to divorce me? Why are you talking about us being together now?" "David, listen to me. I was just joking with you just now. Don't take it seriously. How could I divorce you? You're the husband I love most." On the phone, Ashley Thompson immediately changed her tone and began to act cute and seductive, trying her best to win me back. She was very anxious now, afraid that I would abandon her, and her tone became particularly ingratiating. "David, please, hurry up and come help me pay the bill. I'm waiting for you at the door." "No need. You should spend time with your first love," I said in a cold tone. "Since he's the only one in your heart, then you should be with him. I wish you both happiness forever." On the other end of the phone, Ashley Thompson screamed in panic, "David Carter, how do you know Ryan Smith is here too? Are you having me followed?" "David Carter, don't overthink things. Ryan Smith and I are just ordinary friends. Don't misunderstand," she explained anxiously. "Since you're just ordinary friends, then he should pay for his welcome party. I believe that with his abilities, treating everyone to a meal shouldn't be a problem, right?" After saying this, I hung up the phone directly, not giving her any chance to explain. At this time, Ashley Thompson was completely anxious. She was like an ant on a hot pot, pacing back and forth anxiously outside the room and constantly calling my phone, but I ruthlessly rejected all of them. Looking at her embarrassed appearance, I finally felt a sense of relief in my heart. "Ashley, is something wrong? Why have you been gone for so long?" Ryan Smith, seeing that Ashley Thompson hadn't returned for a long time, finally couldn't help but come out and ask with feigned concern. At this moment, Ashley Thompson's face no longer had its usual elegance and composure. She quickly grabbed Ryan Smith's hand and said pitifully, "Ryan, things are a bit troublesome. That bastard David Carter doesn't know what's wrong with him, but he transferred all the money from my card and froze it, so I can't pay." Hearing Ashley Thompson say this, Ryan Smith's face immediately revealed an expression of righteous indignation. He pretended to care and said, Ashley, this is too much. How can he treat you like this? He relies on you to live a good life. Don't worry, leave this to me. I'll call David Carter right now and tell him to transfer the money back to you immediately, or I won't let him get away with this. Saying this, Ryan Smith dialed my phone aggressively. David Carter, what exactly do you want? Why did you transfer Ashley's money at will? I know you're jealous that I'm Ashley's first love, but we were classmates in college at least, and you know what our relationship is now, right? Hurry up and transfer the money back. I'm telling you, transferring someone else's money without their consent, even if you're married, is considered theft. Ryan Smith's blustering voice came from the other end of the phone. Listening to his nonsense, I found it both ridiculous and pathetic. I deliberately pretended to know nothing and asked, "Did I transfer her money? What are you talking about? I don't know anything about this." David Carter, don't pretend. You're just jealous that Ashley is celebrating my return to America, so you're deliberately trying to sabotage things and ruin our relationship. I warn you, send the money back immediately, or I'll be rude to you. Ryan Smith roared angrily on the other end of the phone. Listening to Ryan Smith's childish threats, I couldn't help but laugh. I retorted, "Since it's your welcome back, why should Ashley Thompson pay? Is it possible that you, an elite returnee, can't even afford a meal? Could it be that you're just a poor guy with nothing but appearances?" My words were like a sharp knife, piercing Ryan Smith's sore spot and making him instantly furious. David Carter, what do you mean? Are you mocking me? This is a surprise that Ashley Thompson specially prepared for me. Why are you talking nonsense here and making trouble? I think you're the one who's useless and only knows how to be supported by your wife. We've long been disgusted with you, a kept man. I remained unmoved, my tone still calm. Anyway, I didn't take Ashley Thompson's money. Let her ask me herself. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. I knew that Ryan Smith had always been jealous of me. Back then, he was a playboy who dumped Ashley Thompson after playing with her. He thought that Ashley Thompson had started from scratch and made a lot of money after graduating on, but he didn't know that the one who started from scratch was me. As a result, he was jealous that I had gotten lucky and that I, even though he knew Ashley first, got to marry such a rich and beautiful wife. That's why he secretly hooked up with Ashley Thompson after going abroad, wanting to climb to the top. He didn't know that the so-called rich and beautiful CEO in his eyes was broke and just a gold digger with a strong sense of vanity, whom I supported. After hanging up the phone, I leisurely sat in the room, sipping red wine and watching the good show unfolding on the surveillance footage. At this moment, those people in the room had already become somewhat impatient and began to complain. Outside the room, Ryan Smith looked at the overwhelmed Ashley Thompson and said with heartache, "Ashley, I think David Carter is just a hooligan. He's trying to embarrass you. Why don't we call the police and let them handle this?" As he spoke, he pretended to gently stroke the back of Ashley Thompson's hand, wanting to take advantage of the opportunity. Seeing this scene, I felt a chill in my heart and became even more disgusted with these two people. For Ashley Thompson shook her head and rejected Ryan Smith's suggestion. She knew very well that if she called the police, once they intervened in the investigation and found out the true ownership of the credit cards, her carefully cultivated rich woman persona would completely collapse, and she would lose all face. But if she didn't call the police, she simply couldn't solve the current predicament. Ashley Thompson's face was full of bitterness and helplessness, and I just watched coldly. There was no pity in my heart, only pleasure. "Ryan, go back to the room first and help me appease everyone. Just say I have some urgent matters to deal with temporarily and will be back soon." Ashley Thompson said with a forced smile, "Don't worry, I'll take care of this. Maybe I didn't explain it clearly to David Carter beforehand, so." He got angry for a moment and threw a bit of a tantrum. "Once I explain it to him properly, he'll transfer the money back soon." After saying this, she forcibly pushed Ryan Smith back into the room, then turned around, took a deep breath, tried her best to calm herself down, and proactively called me. "David, I was wrong. I know I shouldn't have thrown a welcome party for Ryan Smith behind your back. Don't worry, the person I love most in my heart is you, and the only thing I care about is your feelings. David, I'm your wife. I've already promised everyone to treat them You can't let me break my promise and lose face in front of my friends, can you? You know that my good girlfriends are all hoping to see me make a fool of myself. She acted coquettishly on the phone, full of seduction, wanting to soften my heart with this. But on the surveillance footage, it could be seen that although she was trying her best to act cute, her eyes were extremely cold, and even the expression on her face was somewhat distorted, full of resentment. Sorry, we're already divorced, and I have no obligation to help you. I said in an indifferent tone. Ashley Thompson, if you want to treat everyone to a meal, then use your own money. Don't try to take my money again. David Carter, do you have to be so heartless? I already know I was wrong. What else do you want me to do? Ashley Thompson completely lost it and roared into the phone. But waiting for her was only my ruthlessness. I ignored her hysterics and instead asked indifferently, you were the one who said you wanted a divorce first. I just agreed to your request. Now you regret it. If only you had known this earlier, why did you do it in the first place? Moreover, I'm no longer your husband. Why should I spend money on you? Do you think my money came from thin air? After hanging up the phone, I ruthlessly blacklisted her without any hesitation. Ashley Thompson was completely dumbfounded. She never expected that I would back. So heartless, not giving her any chance to redeem herself. After all, just this morning, I was still listening to her every word, doing everything she asked, and even drove 3 hours just to buy her the dessert she loved most. She had long been accustomed to being pampered and spoiled by me, thinking that I was completely under her control, but at this critical moment, I turned around and left without hesitation, not giving her any face at all. Ashley, what's wrong? Did that bastard David Carter transfer the money back? Just as Ashley Thompson was stunned, Ryan Smith's voice came from behind. He hurriedly walked out, looking at Ashley Thompson with a troubled expression, and said, Ashley, everyone is already a little annoyed and is urging you to go back and pay the bill. Hearing Ryan Smith's words, Ashley Thompson finally woke up and realized how terrible her current situation was. She had long been accustomed to being praised, envied, and enjoying the treatment of being the center of attention. Now, she was even more unwilling to have her hypocritical mask torn off and didn't want to lose face in front of her girlfriends. Ryan, wait here for a while, I'll go find a way to raise money right away, she said distractedly. Ashley, not that I'm saying anything, but a man like David Carter simply isn't worthy of you. Not only does he eat your food and drink your drinks, but he's also ungrateful and even steals your money. He's simply scum. In my opinion, you might as well call the police. I know you're kind-hearted and want to save his face, but he doesn't understand your good intentions. It's better to let the police arrest this bastard and teach him a good lesson. Ryan Smith quietly put his hand close to Ashley Thompson's shoulder and said gently. Hearing this, a trace of unease flashed in Ashley Thompson's eyes. She quickly shook her head and refused. Ryan, no. David was just angry for a moment and said some angry words. We can't call the police to ARR. Him. If it escalates to the police station, things won't be easy to handle. I'll go and try to persuade him. Can you help me explain to them and wait for me for a while? As she spoke, Ashley Thompson prepared to turn around and leave. Just at this moment, I winked at the club manager behind me. The club manager understood and revealed a professional smile on his face, immediately opening the door and walking towards Ashley Thompson. Miss Thompson, are you planning to leave? Seeing the manager suddenly appear, Ashley Thompson felt a vague sense of foreboding in her heart and forced herself to remain calm, saying, I forgot to bring my card. I'm going back to get it now and will be back to pay the bill in a while. Miss Thompson, you've spent millions of dollars on your bill at our club. If you leave now, I'm afraid I won't be able to explain it to the boss. The manager still had a smile on his face, but his tone became firm. Ashley, what's going on? Why can't we leave yet? Several friends who had been waiting impatiently also walked out of the room, asking curiously. Hearing this, an unnatural expression appeared on Ashley Thompson's face. Miss Thompson said she doesn't have the money to pay the bill and is planning to leave. The manager deliberately raised his voice and said loudly. He had already received my instructions and would naturally not let go of this opportunity to expose Ashley Thompson's true colors. Hearing this, a group of people all turned their gazes towards Ashley Thompson, their eyes full of questioning. It's not that Ashley doesn't have the money to pay the bill, but that trash David Carter transferred the money from Ashley's card, causing her card to be frozen, so she can't pay. Ryan Smith, seeing the situation, quickly stood up to explain to Ashley Thompson. This David Carter is too much. How can he do something like this? That's right. We've long said that David Carter simply isn't worthy of Ashley. Now it seems that's the case. Ashley, in my opinion, you should listen to our advice and divorce David Carter. You and Ryan Smith are a match made in heaven. Only he is worthy of you. The friends chattered in disgust, all condemning me while also flattering Ashley Thompson and Ryan Smith. I looked at Ashley Thompson's livid face, got up, and strode out of the room. I had to personally join this good show. My appearance immediately attracted everyone's attention. Their eyes were full of disdain, as if I were an uninvited guest, disrupting their high-end gathering. Ashley Thompson, on the other hand, saw me as a lifeline and rushed towards me anxiously, saying in a hurried tone, "David Carter, you're finally here. Where's the money? Or the card? Hurry up and give it to me." As she said these words, she didn't forget to wink at me desperately, hinting that I should cooperate with her act. But I seemed to have completely misunderstood her meaning, a look of doubt on my face, and asked indifferently, "What money? Why should I return money to you? It sounds like I took your money. Are you mistaken?" As I spoke, I deliberately took a step back, widening the distance between Ashley Thompson and me. In my previous life, Ashley Thompson must have been planning for my death. The further I am from her, the easier it will be for me to run away. Moreover, I had already secretly arranged for bodyguards. Seeing me retreat, they immediately emerged from the crowd and stopped Ashley Thompson in place, preventing her from approaching me. "David Carter, stop playing around. I'm talking to you seriously. Now is not the time to be throwing a tantrum." Ashley Thompson completely panicked, her voice trembling slightly. She had already realized that things were completely out of her control. If there was still room for negotiation in the previous exchanges, I had now publicly torn off all pretenses with her. But at this moment, I didn't even look at her, directly ignoring her existence, turned my head, and said loudly to everyone, "The reason why I'm here today is to explain something. I never took Ashley Thompson's money. She may have been in a moment of desperation before, so she said something to slander me. I hope everyone doesn't misunderstand." After saying this, I ignored everyone's reactions and prepared to leave. Ryan Smith, seeing my nonchalant appearance, immediately became anxious. He quickly stepped forward and blocked my path. "David Carter, stop right there. Do you think you can just say you didn't take it and that's it?" He looked at me with a gloomy expression and said in an unkind tone, "Ashley said that you took the money, so you must have taken it. Stop pretending here and return the money immediately, or I'll make you regret it." I still didn't look Ryan Smith in the eye, ignoring his threats. I turned my head and said to the manager standing aside, "Manager, since these people can't pay the bill, then follow the rules and call the police." 6. Although Ashley Thompson's girlfriends had a bad attitude towards me, we weren't very close. But before, when I was blinded by love, I was afraid that Ashley Thompson would be deceived, so I made a special investigation and knew their situation very well. Most of these people came from ordinary families, with a bit of ambition but not much. So, I let Ashley Thompson interact with them. And this meal cost a full $1 million. The manager just showed me the bill. They opened 7 bottles of top-quality red wine that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars a bottle. It was simply extravagant to the extreme. Just this meal, split among so many people, was not a small amount. The manager didn't say much and immediately signaled the security guards to surround the group, preventing them from escaping. Her good girlfriends also felt that something was wrong and began to accuse Ashley Thompson, trying to clear themselves of responsibility. Ashley Thompson's face had become very ugly, and she shouted to me in exasperation, "David Carter, what exactly do you want to do? What you're doing is illegal. Do you believe I'll call the police to arrest you?" I watched Ashley Thompson's clumsy performance with interest. Ashley Thompson completely collapsed and shouted, "Quiet." Everyone quieted down. Ashley Thompson took a deep breath and said to everyone, "Don't worry, I won't let you pay. It's not like I'm short of a few cards. It's just a bit troublesome to take out the company's working capital." Then she went to a corner to make a phone call. I knew she wasn't calling the company's finance department, but her parents. But her family was also a bottomless pit. It would be nice if they didn't ask her for money, let alone give her money. In the past, her parents would call from time to time, asking for money for various reasons. As for Ashley Thompson's younger brother, he had become addicted to gambling at a young age, often gambling online and losing a lot of money, owing a lot of debt. Now, Ashley Thompson's family couldn't come up with much money at all. It was a pipe dream to expect them to come to the rescue. In short, Ashley Thompson had reached a dead end. I walked to the side, pricked up my ears, and secretly listened to Ashley Thompson's conversation with her parents. "What do you mean you don't have money? I've sent a lot of money home over the years. Have you spent it all? I don't care. Even if you borrow it, you have to find a way to lend me the money. I need money urgently now. You must help me." Ashley Thompson shouted into the phone, her tone full of anger and anxiety. Listening to this, I couldn't help but smile. It was indeed as I expected. Ashley Thompson's parents were all selfish and money-grubbing opportunists. They wouldn't care about Ashley Thompson's life or death. Before long, Ashley Thompson's parents made various excuses and hung up the phone immediately. At this moment, Ashley Thompson was as if her soul had been taken away, standing there blankly. The phone in her hand slid weakly and fell to the ground. Coming back to her senses, she saw me standing not far away, looking at her with a cold and mocking gaze, and rushed towards me regardless of everything. "David, I know I was wrong. I've deeply realized my mistakes. Please forgive me this time, I beg you." Ashley Thompson cried her eyes out, changing her usual proud and aloof image, and begged bitterly, "David, as long as you help me pay the bill, I will treat you well in the future. I promise to listen to you in everything from now on and will never make you angry again, okay?" As she spoke, she even wanted to come over and grab my hand. But I had already seen through her facade. Did she think I would fall for her tricks? Without hesitation, I dodged her touch, saying in an icy tone, "Save it, Ashley Thompson. You and I are done. Your tears and apologies mean nothing to me. Just don't bother me after the divorce papers are signed." With that, I turned away. I walked to the entrance of the private room, where Ryan Smith and the others were still glaring at me with hostility. They had been deceived by Ashley Thompson's lies and saw me as the villain. Ryan Smith looked at me, scoffed coldly, and said with contempt, "David Carter, you have no shame, stealing money from your wife. Are you even a man?" I feel sorry for Ashley Thompson. She must have been blind to fall for someone like you. I couldn't be bothered arguing with such an idiot. His brain really wasn't working. He still couldn't see what was going on. Pathetic. "Miss Thompson, may I ask when you'll be settling the bill?" Ashley Thompson staggered over, and the manager addressed her respectfully. Hearing this, Ashley Thompson's face visibly paled. She continued to look at me with pleading eyes, hoping I would soften and help her out. Seeing that I remained unmoved, without any intention of responding, she finally despaired. Gritting her teeth, she said in an almost frantic tone, "You want money, right? You want me to pay, right? Fine, go ask him. Go ask David Carter. It's all his fault. He took all my money. I have nothing to pay with." The manager replied blandly, "Miss Thompson, please don't make a scene. If you don't have the money, we'll have to call the police. Let them decide who pays." "No, you can't call the police. You absolutely can't call the police." It wasn't me who panicked first, but Ashley Thompson. Like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, she jumped up and shouted hysterically, "Are you crazy? If you call the police, aren't you afraid of rumors about your club spreading? And David Carter, why aren't you stopping them? I'm doing this for your good. If the police arrest you, your future will be ruined. Your life will be over." When Ashley Thompson said this, there was a hint of fear and pleading in her eyes, hoping I would spare her out of pity. I couldn't help but smile. Even now, Ashley Thompson was still trying to play her role. It was laughable. "David Carter, be a good boy, pay the bill for me. and we'll forget this ever happened." She looked at me, her tone softening, as she urgently pleaded in a low voice. But I just glanced at Ashley Thompson coldly and said to the manager, "Please, just call the police. I believe they will handle this fairly and clear my name." Ashley Thompson's face changed drastically. The look in her eyes was no longer pleading, but one of deep resentment. "David Carter, are you deliberately trying to embarrass me? Are you not happy until you've ruined me? Do you hate me that much?" Ashley Thompson looked at me through gritted teeth, as if she wanted to devour me alive. I ignored her. Seeing this, the manager looked down at his watch and said in a cold tone, "Ms. Thompson, I'll give you 10 minutes to consider. If you still can't come up with the money to pay the bill, I'll have no choice but to call the police." Hearing this, Ashley Thompson completely despaired. She turned at her head and looked at Ryan Smith, who was standing to the side, as if she had thought of something. She said with anticipation, "Ryan, my dad's phone keeps going to voicemail. He's probably busy. Could you please pay tonight's bill for me? Your family is so rich, this little bit of money is nothing to you. Don't worry, I'll find a way to pay you back double tomorrow." As soon as she finished speaking, Ryan Smith's eyes widened, and a look of panic appeared on his face. Ryan Smith's family wasn't that rich, they were just an average middle-class family. He was struggling to make ends meet with his monthly allowance. How could he possibly afford such a huge bill? I had also discovered, after investigating, that Ryan Smith had taken out loans just last month to maintain appearances. Now, Ryan Smith probably didn't even have $1,000 in cash in his pocket. Asking him to come up with hundreds of thousands to pay the bill was simply a pipe dream. Seeing Ryan Smith stammering, unable to say a word for a long time, Ashley Thompson's heart turned cold and sank to the bottom. At this moment, she had already regretted it, regretting that she had been blind and abandoned the sincerity that had been at her beck and call, choosing vanity instead. In the past, I had always been obedient to her and granted her every wish. She always felt that money was just an external thing and didn't matter at all. Now she realized that without money, she was nothing. Even those friends who used to flatter her and please her in every way had all revealed their true colors, avoiding her like the plague. Ashley Thompson then turned her gaze to her best friends standing aside, hoping they would lend a helping hand. "Everyone, please, help me. My dad's phone keeps going to voicemail. He's probably busy. I don't have any money right now. As long as you're willing to lend me money, I'll find a way to pay you back double tomorrow," Ashley Thompson said urgently, her tone humble. When her friends heard this, they all looked surprised and exchanged glances, then looked at me, who remained silent. If I had taken Ashley Thompson's money, she would have chosen to force me to step forward at this time. Several sharp-eyed people's faces had already begun to turn pale, obviously realizing that something was wrong. The usually glamorous Ashley Thompson seemed to be in real trouble today. "Why don't we talk to the manager and see if they can give us a discount?" someone suggested, trying to ease the atmosphere. Yes, and Ashley Thompson, you eat here often, you should know the boss. The manager doesn't have the authority to give discounts, but the boss definitely can." Several people who usually had a good relationship with Ashley Thompson quickly echoed. However, at this moment, the club boss walked into the crowd with a beaming smile. "Mr. Carter, what a pleasant surprise to see you today. You should have given me a heads up so I could have made arrangements." The boss's attitude was extremely respectful, even slightly bowing. The whole place fell silent instantly, and everyone stared in disbelief at the scene before them. Mr. Carter? Had they heard correctly? This dressed David Carter, who had always been denigrated by Ashley Thompson as a kept man, was the owner of this club? In an instant, everyone understood. Those who had still harbored illusions about Ashley Thompson also came to terms with reality. It turned out that the Miss Thompson they had always envied was just a parasite who lived off a man. No need for arrangements. I'm just here to inspect the place. My tone was calm, and it was impossible to tell whether I was happy or angry. Okay, Mr. Carter, please wait a moment. I'll deal with this situation and then show you around the club," the boss said with a smile, then turned around, his face instantly turning cold, and said to the manager, "Since Mr. Carter has no objections, let's handle today's matter officially. Call the police. The manager immediately took out his phone and dialed the police. No, 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 Mr. Carter, please be generous and forgive us this time. Mr. Carter, we know we were wrong. We shouldn't have been so judgmental. Mr. Carter, please, let us off the hook. The people who had just been sneering at me were now all bowing and apologizing, begging bitterly. They wished they could slap themselves a few times. How could they have been so stupid as to offend this man? Ryan Smith's face also turned ugly. He had originally wanted to climb up the social ladder with Ashley Thompson, but he didn't expect her to be just a facade. I looked at this group of people making such ugly displays, feeling no pity, only disgust. The police arrived quickly. That's them, a group of them, malicious spending, suspected of fraud. Take them away. The manager pointed at Ryan Smith and Ashley Thompson. After understanding the situation, the police handcuffed Ryan Smith and Ashley Thompson's group. David Carter, you can't do this to me. Ashley Thompson shouted hoarsely. I love you. I was deceived by that bastard Ryan Smith. Love me? How ridiculous. If I hadn't exposed her today, she would have continued to use me as an ATM, right? I looked at Ashley Thompson coldly, without saying a word. In order to get the divorce evidence, I also went to the police station, and the police asked me to make a statement as well.